Welcome to the Unscripted Podcast, guys. My name is Karan Gaglani, and I'm your host. My guest on this episode is Ritvik Mamidala. Is that how we say it? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm very excited to welcome Ricky. He's currently studying health sciences with a minor in business on the pre-med track, and he's been really involved with social work, which I think is a really important thing for people's lives today. Now, let's hear it from him. Can you tell us more about yourself?
sure. Hi, Karan. Nice to meet you. Glad we could do this today.
Yeah.
So yes, for myself, I'm a third year. I'm studying health sciences on the pre-med track. I'm from Westerville, Ohio, which is about 20 minutes away from your campus. Few of my involvements on campus regarding not just social work, but just in general. Currently, I run as the marketing director and I'm the co-founder of one of my organizations called Village Mentors at Ohio State. I also tour guide for the school through the University Ambassadors Program. And then I'm also the morale program liaison for the Buckeyethon program at Ohio State as well.
Sure, that's thank you so much for the amazing introduction, Ricky. I think that that was a great introduction to have. A lot of diverse things in there. A lot of things you've been doing with college. So, what is I just want to start off with a few questions first. I think it's really interesting to know, like, why did you pick your major? What was the reason behind health sciences? And like, you can see that your major and your minor are so completely different. You're doing health sciences and you're doing business, which is so different from each other. So what was the thought process or the thinking behind taking those two as your major and minor?
So for myself personally, what I saw myself as though I'm on the pre-med track, I really want to become a physician in the future. But like through my schooling processes for like the last few years being in school, the COVID pandemic, I've learned a lot. And one of the big things that I've come upon as like one of my big interests, especially as my future career, definitely is to the healthcare management system. Kind of understanding the healthcare system, understanding insurance policies, how it works for families, as well as how the hospital management system works. Because at the end of the day, as much as the hospital gives care to the families around in the community, they also run as a business. So understanding logistics, the supply chain behind it, how to run all the materials to the hospital to make sure everything there is on time. I really enjoy that aspect of healthcare as well. And I think combining that side of management with the clinical sciences of becoming like a doctor and a physician and working with patients hand on hand, I think combining that together is what I want to see myself doing in the future, and I'd love to do that. So that's why I pursue a minor in business. Health sciences for the major, I just love the variety of classes that you can take in health sciences. You can take classes in business, in sciences, clinical care, patient care, and it comes up as the degree. So I just really love, I'm never someone who wants to pick something specific. I love getting a variety. I feel like college is really the moral of the story is kind of feeling what you want, because you never have to have anything set. Just understanding what you're really interested in. So kind of combining that all together is what I wanted.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great way of thinking of, I think that's something everyone looks at when picking the major. At if you can get what you really like and get what you want to do. I think health management is a great sector to get into. I've heard a lot of it because I'm a finance major myself, so heard a lot towards the healthcare sector of management. And yeah, that's something great. I think that's something you should definitely pursue. Um, what is some advice? I think we already touched a little bit upon this, but what is some advice you would give someone coming into OSU, let's say, or not even OSU, any college at all? People are always confused about what major they want to do, and they come in undecided for that reason, which is great. But what is some factors which you think they could weigh to decide what kind of major they want to do, or they should have picked for?
That's actually a great question. So basically, for a majority of students, regardless of what college you go to, you have until the second semester of your second year to determine and declare your major.
Mm.
So that gives you basically 4 semesters to essentially pick and choose classes and see hey, what am I interested in? Am I interested in philosophy? Am I interested in economics? Am I interested in public policy? Do I like engineering, or do I like computer science? Do I like this? Do I like that? You can pick and choose your classes as an undecided major for those 4 semesters, and kind of take them as they are and understand that you're taking a variety of classes, but take the most basic ones. So the content is never the struggle. You're just trying to understand and get a grasp of everything and what am I actually interested in? Because you never want to essentially, sorry about that, you never want to waste time and make sure that essentially you never want to waste time to know that, hey, I have this going on. I'm going to commit to this major and I'm going to do all 4 years of it, even though I might not like it. Like at least it's better off in your freshman year, your second year to take time and kind of sit back and be like, hey, I'm gonna play around with my classes, see what I want, because then you'll have the best decision made because you've crossed out all the other possibilities. And a lot of
Yeah.
colleges, especially Ohio State, has over 200 majors, and you can always take time to take any classes, meet with any advisors. A great advice I would give is like if you have like big five interests, maybe reach out on LinkedIn to students who've already been in that major or who have already graduated, and ask them what their input was in the classes and like what the major is like and what they gained from it. So before you even come to college, you've already gotten an insight on all the majors that you're really interested in, and then when you have to commit to one, you've already done that.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely, I think, an interesting fact that we had the opportunity of, taking those 4 semesters to weigh in all what we want to do and, come back to the decision of what major we want to pick. That's a pretty cool thing. I just want to know something. You've been involved in like so many organizations throughout campus. I mean, in different parts too. Village Mentors, probably social work. You have Buckeye-thon, again social work, but more on the outgoing side of, you go on the other side of social work, and then you have all the you even were ambassador for the university. So what do you think, like, involvements? I feel like for me as a person, more than classes, involvements play a great role because you learn so much out of involvements. What is an advice you would give to an incoming freshman? Incoming freshmen often are confused. What kind of involvements do we do? Or do we just take classes? Or how do they balance the time? What is some advice you think you could give them on that case scenario, that what they could do?
So that's the beauty of college, right? Is that this is that once you graduate and you're working a job and you're doing that, that's basically like the rest of your life. It's just that, and then your work, your like social life around your job essentially. But college gives you that chance to really like hone in on your hobbies and your interests, and then just join people and really find that because I feel like really joining an organization gives you two really good aspects. You not only work on your social and your leadership skills, that really help you like kind of like make those friends and like cherish those moments you're in college. And then even if you don't remember those friends after you graduate, at least you take those social skills with you to when you go when you go on to work in a new field, you're in a new city, you've taken those aspects and you're like, hey, now I'm going to meet new people. I know how to do it because I did it through my interest here. I'm going to do it through my job or etc. Anything else to that. So the ideas and skills that you take from the organization definitely translate post graduation to the rest of the world. Additionally, what you get out of it is that you're really like finding organization that you love. So the beauty of like going to college, especially like at Ohio State, there's like 700 different organizations, all revolving around like your major possibly or your minor. Or there's organizations that you have nothing against, but like you have no connection to with your major, but you just have an interest. So for myself, I love community service and global outreach. That's why I started Village Ventures because I love doing that stuff. I also love like cancer research and really finding a cure for cancer and getting involved like philanthropically. So that's why I joined Buckeye Farm. Additionally, I love dance. Dance is one of my big things. Being an Indian family all my life, dance has always been a big thing in my life. And I wanted to do something about that. So the morale program is the dance program of Buckeye Farm. So I got to join that. So I got to combine my interest there. And then my university ambassadors program, specifically the reason I joined that is not only because after COVID, I really wanted to meet new people that were outgoing and like doing the same interests as me and trying to like work on our public speaking skills, work on our leadership skills. So I joined that organization and I've learned so much from it. So like there's so many different ways you can join so many different organizations and kind of get your skills to all hone in together and really cherish those memories that you'll make with those people because you're only here for 4 or 5 years. So really making sure that you make that moment with it. So incoming freshmen, like definitely join as many orgs that you're really interested in that. Doesn't have to be related to your major, doesn't have to do anything, especially when you're talking in your graduate interviews or job interviews. You don't have to always have like your work related stuff. They know that's going to be there. Talk about your interests. Maybe you played a sport in college. Maybe you joined a team for something. Maybe you joined a leadership group. Maybe you're the president of this organization. Think of those logistics because eventually those are things that are going to pile up and help you around after graduation.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely an important thing. Yeah. I mean, these are things which will definitely help you after graduation because all these live experiences you're getting through these organizations which you're involved in. So yeah, that's for sure. Going on to a little bit, about, you spoke about how you co-founded Village Mentors, and you co-founded Village Mentors. And so I want to talk a little bit about, your social work and everything. I think that's really something which stood out to me when I first got your name up for taking an interview. I was like, Village Mentors was something which I thought, I'm really big into social work, and I think that what you're doing is great when I heard about it, but I just want the audience to know what it does too. So
Sure.
is there anything else, like, can you like tell me a little bit about what Village Mentor does, like, in
Yeah,
simple
of
terms?
course. Yeah, so kind of just giving it like an apparent tree aspect. So there's a huge organization called Village Book Builders, and essentially what they do is they're a nonprofit organization, and they build libraries in very rural areas across the world. So that includes in Mexico, in Nepal, in Colombia, in India, in Africa. These are majority of the bigger countries, but they're ever expanding in little small areas within all the countries as well. So then they actually started an initiative that I actually co-founded myself with my friend Nosheen in 2020 of the summer. She's our president. Her name's Nosheen Islam. She's our president of the organization. She reached out to me. She's like, "Hey, I want to really make this organization come to fruition because they're looking for chapters at different colleges." So we actually founded the Ohio State chapter, and it's under the name of Village Mentors, which is the collegiate program of Village Book Builders. So for Village Mentors, especially, what we did, what we really wanted to really like hone in on was, especially with the ongoing COVID pandemic, with no end in sight, we were looking for ways for students to get involved and find essentially what we call it is COVID-proof volunteering opportunities. So essentially what we do in our organization is we partner with a specific village, like with the library is like assessed in a village, and students who live in that area, this is essentially an after school program for them where they will meet one-on-one with a mentor who's in our chapter on a weekly basis for about an hour, and you'll help them with not just schooling, because that would be tutoring, but this is a mentorship program. So you're helping them with lifestyles. Maybe education is a really big thing. Maybe English learning is a really big thing for them. Maybe they just don't know how high school works or college works. So you're really helping them, and the main goal is to really educate and motivate these students to lift them out of poverty, because a lot of these students at such a young age, we typically mentor between high school age, so like 9 to 12th grade. A lot of these students have a problem of not getting them much encouragement to leave after high school, so they'll just kind of finish high school and go back and work for their families, and they'll just kind of like restart that cycle of poverty. So this is what our organization does, is kind of trying to put like a wrench in that gear and kind of tell them, hey guys, like you have an opportunity to pursue higher education and really pursue your dreams. So all these kids will tell us, I want to become a fireman, I want to become a doctor, I want to become a nurse. And we being in such privileged positions as someone who's like studying in like a well-reversed college, uh, here doing an education that we pursue, this is our opportunity to give back to those people. So I really, really enjoy that, like that gratifying moment that I have with my mentee whenever we meet, because he wants to become a doctor. So I help him out because I'm trying to pursue the same thing too. So I'll help him with his biology, his chemistries, his English speaking, his English grammar. And it's really, really gratifying. And then we bond over our shared love of soccer. So at the end of all of our sessions, we'll so like kind of like for me, for example, like I'll do my whole curriculum with him for like 45 minutes. In the last 15 minutes, because he doesn't have cable there, he only knows like the scores of like the Premier League for soccer. So I'll actually pull up like I'll like share my screen on Zoom with like highlights of like a past match of his favorite team or something like that, and then just something enjoyment, because he doesn't really get that at home. So it's something for me that I really feel gratifying, where I know it's making the life changing.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely very, very interesting. So is there like anyone who can join in as a mentor, or do you guys like just pick mentor? Oh,
No, anyone can apply actually. So you can just join our organization whenever you like. We're kind of like on a rolling basis of just semesters, just because the timelines work out.
yep.
So then, as a chapter, so technically our organization could just be you join our org, you go mentor, and you never come to any like meetings. But we
Yeah.
host chapter meetings to do things, not only since our outreach is mainly globally when we do mentoring. As an organization, as a chapter, we try to do more local stuff in the community as well as here in the Columbus area. Um, so we've worked with this company called Equitas Health. We've made safe injection kits for them. Currently, I'm working as a marketing director, so I'm kind of trying, since I co-founded this organization, I don't want it to fizzle out after I graduate. I want this to be a sustained org. So I'm actually building sponsorships and donations with a bunch of companies and individuals that can like help sponsor our organization, fund our organization. So kind of building like the foundations right now for that. You can join the events committee to hold events that we do, like mental health workshop events. We do events revolving around how to teach your mentee, how to do this. We have technology management events. So like they're just fun things that we can do for organization itself. And it's really great. We have committees that people will join. So then you still have something sustained for organization. You have new people to meet, people who have the same desire to help people in the world like you. So friendships to make. But then also on the side, your weekly basis, you're going to mentor a student. And the great thing about the mentoring sessions is when you sign up for them, you can actually do it at any time that works out for you. Of course, there's a time gap like between like the time zones, but between the time zones available for you, you can pick any time. So for me, I actually mentor on Thursdays at 9 a.m. because that works for my schedule, and I just do it from 9 to 10. So it's really, really great.
Yeah, definitely. That's pretty good. Also, I just had a question. So you guys only give mentors out. Do you guys do you host any fundraisers, or is it just only mentorship, more of like towards?
So we do host fundraisers for organization to like keep funds working. Of course, OSU tries to
Okay,
help
yeah,
us, but we want to get more external funds.
yeah.
One big project that I'm actually working on for organization that I'm really excited to share is that we are currently working on a travel trip to go visit our mentees in. Oh, so I didn't even establish this. We met our organization mentors children in Kadzakalawa, Malawi, Africa, which is a country that's like a really small country right above South Africa. Um, so we're actually planning a trip to visit our kids in December, like the New Year's like winter break time. So I'm currently working on the funds to get that covered. I want all of my mentors in our organization to go to this trip, but I don't want them paying any money out of pocket. I want this to be covered by the organization. So that's why I'm currently working on sponsorships and donations with huge like education companies like Pearson, McGraw-Hill, Cengage, and then also like small donation companies from educational companies around the country, just like small like restaurants that can help us out, and then individual sponsors themselves. So that's what I'm working on right now, establishing. So um, that's what our big fundraising push is going for right now, is to make sure that our full trip is fully funded for. So then if you wanted to come along the trip as a mentor, you just got to sign up. There is no financial compensation from you. You just have to come and go see your kids in person. So I'm really excited to do that because I'm planning on going on this trip, and it'll be so cool that like it's like a full circle essentially, that I've worked with my kid for the last 2 years on like an online basis, and now I get to see him in person and then get to see what his like living situations like, how schooling is there, and then we can kind of like put effect of the curriculum that we've done online in person and kind of change the way that they're schooled.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely really interesting. I think going in, I think it can be such a life-changing impact if your mentor comes and tries to change that, especially traveling like across the world for that. That's something I would, I think I would applaud for your organization to do. That's great. And I just want to know this, like, I know this organization it's doing you wonders. I know I can see that happen from how you're talking about the organization. It's just doing you wonders. What do you think? What do you like hope to get out of it? Is it the marketing experience? Is it that child who the children you mentor would become, they would live their dream, or is it like something else? What is it all put together? It could be or that too. What is that?
So I mainly just took the marketing director position. I'm from Columbus, and I grew up with
Yeah.
like a lot of people around the area. So I feel like I'm well versed in like making connections with a lot of people in the local area,
Yeah.
especially for moments to raise funding for the organization. So that's why I took the marketing director position. But mainly the reason I enjoy this org itself is those moments when I'm mentoring my kid and I feel like it's such a good feeling that I've done something right. Because like even the small victories of just helping a kid learn English, like you don't know how much of impact, because it's English to you is nothing, but that English to them is like a life-changing experience because they just been speaking their home language for their entire life, and now they're realizing that in order to get around in the world and actually improve their life situations, they have to learn English, have to be competent, have to work in workable situations. So really finding those like ideas is really important for me. So I really, really enjoy that organization, and then building our community at Ohio State of people who have the same passions as me to do global service. That's so cool. Like that's what I love about college. Like within seconds, you can find people who have the same interests and same passions as you, and then you can join organizations where you work on projects towards your passion projects. So I think that's like such an amazing feeling that I found my home here, and I feel like that's like a really big thing for a lot of incoming freshmen is like regardless of what college you go to, the classes will be the same, your major is still the same, you'll do the same thing regardless of where you go. But what really makes a difference is what you're doing outside of the classroom. So finding your home with organizations and people who have the same meaningful connections to the passions that you have is really important. And end of the day, you may get that degree and you may graduate, you may have learned a lot from your schooling, but those are the things that will come at the end of the day and really push you to where you want to be
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's definitely helpful. I think a college like Ohio State, where you have such a diverse background, it's going to be really easy to find a lot of people, and that's definitely really good thing. Have you like used any other resources from OSU? I'm pretty sure OSU gives out a lot of resources, so that's
in regards to like what, just general like stuff in
just I mean like general stuff. They give out. I'm pretty sure they give out resources to a lot of the organizations for like funding and everything too,
yeah.
right?
So there's I actually went to I went to a networking event for the undergraduate student government a few weeks ago. I learned a lot from that there's so many people who like, there's organizations, there's student club coaches. So always you can literally have someone who can help you and like help you run your organization if you need be. If you need numbers for an event, they can request people to bring them out to you to help you out with that events. If you're looking for funding, you can apply for their grants to get more funding for your organization. So it's really cool how you can get established as that. If you're working in an organization that's a nonprofit like mine, Columbus, State of Ohio, the Midwest, any regional aspect of just the entire like nation, they will do a lot for nonprofits. You just got to do the work. Just simple Google searches of like how to get money for my nonprofit, how to build up my projects for my nonprofit. So if you have any nonprofits, you're at a big advantage of really building up a lot of donations and surmounting.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. That's pretty interesting. I think like I've been motivated by what you speak about Village Mentors. I think it's a great organization. You spoke about. It's definitely really interesting, and I urge every person, whoever listens to this podcast, that if they really have the passion for mentoring someone, if they really have the time to do that, please they should get ahead and join Village Mentors. I think that'll be great for.
And you'll get your volunteering hours. If you need a volunteering hours, you'll get your volunteering hours certified through the program itself. So that's really great. Like I really enjoy it. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I wish you best of luck for Village Mentors 100%. That's I think you're doing a great job, and I'm pretty sure it's going to keep growing exponentially. I can see that happen for sure. So thank you so much for talking about Village Mentors. So, I'm just going to get back a little bit to talk about you now, a little bit about your other experiences. I think that's, pretty important to put it over out there. I think I think when you're speaking, you told me a little bit about like, what are some of the career accomplishments? I've seen that you've made a lot of accomplishments on the career side too right now. You've been like, I think you've been interning or something, and what are the like things you want to talk about? Anything specific to that? Yeah.
So big things that I've done more towards like my career aspects, or like basically like pre-medical aspects. I have like two big things. One would be three really. One thing would be shadowing. Like shadowing was like a really big thing that I really got myself involved in starting from a freshman year, to go really shadow doctors and people in the healthcare field that I have an interest with, just to see if like, is this really right for me? Because healthcare, the whole journey to become a physician, to become anyone professional in the field is long, like it's like an arduous process. So really getting involved in that is you have to really commit to it. So kind of like seeing someone who already is in that field and has an insight on it and get more advice and like really like questioning myself, am I ready for this? Do I want to commit to it? That's really important. So I did a lot of shadowing, and that's what's helped me solidify my passion for healthcare. Additionally, there's things like research. So I actually currently do research in two clinical projects, one for the Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Center at the Wexford Medical Center, and I do it on meniscus tears and suturing, and kind of like finding out which meniscus suturing are the best ones. Additionally, I also do research for the critical care burn and trauma unit at Wexford Medical Center as well. And we're doing research on inhalation injuries, specifically like smoke inhalation injuries, and like testing out how to test patients to make sure that they'll fit to survive out of the emergency department and through operations in OR. So those, and then additionally, one big thing that's actually really helped me out, that I would highly recommend for any pre-medical students in general, for clinical experience, is that I worked as a patient care associate at the Wexford Medical Center over last summer. It was a really cool job. I worked. I wouldn't recommend anyone do this, but I did it myself because I just wanted to test. I actually worked nights, 24 hours a week. So I worked two 12-hour shifts, and I would typically do them back to back. So I would work Sunday, Mondays, and I would work from like 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. on a Sunday, and then sleep for like 5 hours, and then go back to work at 7 p.m. on Monday, and then come back at like 8 a.m. on Tuesday. Um, so I really enjoyed the job. Like I just loved it. I had such a cool job working night job. It like showed me so much of the healthcare field, and not only doctors who do so much for the patients, but the whole healthcare like team. Everyone from the janitors all the way up to the head physicians, including the nurses, the respiratory therapists, the occupational therapists, everyone involved. I got to see them all working on patients and really improving care plan. So I really enjoyed that, and that job really solidified my passions for working into the pre-medical field and making sure that I want to become a physician. So those are like my big things that I have really helped me like kind of like instill my passions to become a physician in the future.
Yeah, that's definitely pretty good experiences to have as a junior. I don't know, a lot of people, I think sometimes, they take time to get into that, but I think you've already been on your toes doing all these things, and definitely good experience to help you out in the future. So that's pretty good. Thank you for the advice to all the pre-med people out there. I think they all can take your word on this, that it will be good experiences to do. So has there been like any professional mentor? You've been your long time. Has there been any professional mentor in your life? It doesn't have to be from a field. It could be just anyone at all. It could be anyone in the family, anyone outside, anyone you look up to. Who do you think that would be?
Yeah. So when I first started looking for shadowing experiences, I was using LinkedIn in the summer of 2020. Essentially, when COVID hit, a lot of my plans for my 4-year plan in college kind of like there was just
Yeah.
a whole huge hole, right? And everyone's plan, they had a huge hole. Like things just didn't work out. COVID really limited a lot of opportunities, or they just took away a lot. And one of the big things for me was my research. I was actually supposed to start research in a different project back in like my freshman year. That due to COVID, it kind of got stalled, and I never got to get involved in it.
Yeah.
That includes my shadowing as well. So over the summer, I was looking to shadow a lot of doctors. So I just reached out to one of these doctors. I have an interest in orthopedics and sports medicine. So I reached out to a doctor on LinkedIn. And I was like, hey, I'm really interested in like this field. Do you mind if I shadow you in the office? And by God's grace, this guy, his name is Dr. Jones. Um, he actually like accepted me into his office, and he's like, yeah, come here like on Tuesdays and Wednesdays between like 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and come shadow me. So literally for the fall semester of 2020, I would literally go to his offices, which is like close by campus, like 10 minutes. I had a car. I was commuting from home at the time. So I just like took the car down and I went to go see him. And I would just shadow him in his office, see surgeries, see clinic care, and just like really get involved in the orthopedic side of medicine. During that time, I actually just reached out to him as well. And I was like, hey, like I really enjoyed my time shadowing with you. Do you mind if I actually get any research opportunities in this field as well? Because I love like this side of medicine, and doing research in this would be really, really cool. And he's like, yeah, man, for sure, I'll hook you up. So he got me in contact with a student at the OSU College of Medicine. And that's where we actually started our research project together in the meniscus tears. So we work on that together, and I really, really enjoy it with doing that, and it's helped ever since. And I really wouldn't have been able to do any of this without Dr. Jones. He's helped me so much with like just understanding the pre-medical journey, understanding how to work in clinical care and being a physician, understanding the Columbus, Ohio healthcare field, and understanding what it's like here. Um, and now it's actually come full circle. I'm applying to medical schools this upcoming cycle. So he actually is writing my letter of recommendation for one of mine. So I'm really excited that he's helped me so much with like perspective on career choices and making sure I'm doing the right thing. So without him, my college career would be like a complete bust. So he's really helped me out, and I would highly recommend like a lot of students, like you start your freshman year and you find that mentor, because it's a simple question, just saying, hey, I really like your like interest. Do you mind if you mentor me throughout my next 4 years so I can get into a position just like yours? Like a simple sentence like that goes a long way for someone and really can make a life changing experience for them for the next 4 years in college. And I would definitely recommend a lot of students to use LinkedIn, like whether
Mhm.
you're in engineering, finance, STEM,
Yeah.
anything, use LinkedIn, because it's like there's so many people on there that have jobs and interests and a lot of things that you may have an interest in. And you can just do a simple like request them, send a message to them saying, hey, I just want to get to know you. Do you mind if we talk for a little bit? So I highly recommend a lot of students get involved and try to find their mentor at the start.
100%. That's definitely really interesting. You found a mentor on LinkedIn. I think I've been the biggest supporter of LinkedIn. I started using LinkedIn when I was like 16 or something. So I'm 100% there with you that when you say LinkedIn is the most important thing, it is.
It's
Great.
insane.
Exactly.
Like a lot of like, I understand a lot of like engineering and like business students use it because that's how they network for jobs and hiring managers. But like the field in college for STEM students that don't use LinkedIn is huge. So I took that opportunity to use it because there's so many physicians that just have their LinkedIn's on there and they probably have their notifications on their phones. So when they see like a request from a random person, it's like, oh, and then you request it and automatically when they accept the friend request, they see the connection of like a message that you automatically sent into their mailbox and they answer it. Like there's so much potential for a lot of students to like really find the connections on there. So it's really, really great.
Yep, I think that's definitely the best way to go about it. And now, we spoke a little bit about your career and everything, that was definitely great. Let's go a little bit more into the more fun parts now. I always try to go into the later parts of the podcast a little fun. Cool. Like, some stories, maybe movies and everything. I'm going to talk about that definitely. I just want to know, first question I wanted to ask you is, do you like have any, you or your roommates, do they know you for any story or anything which you've done, and any funny story or something like
that? We've done a lot. My roommates right now, so they're met them freshman year, and then we live in an apartment off campus. And one of our big things like that we share bonds with is that we love to listen to music. Like that's just our big thing.
Yeah.
So I'm an early morning riser. Like I'll wake up like 6, 7 in the morning because I just like to get a start with my day. My roommates are definitely not like that. That's completely fine, but I'm just not that. So they will literally like, I'll like take my speaker into the bathroom and I have to play like the right song while I'm taking a nice shower. Like I'll take my time in the morning. Like I love my morning routines. It really sets a precedent for the rest of my day. So I'll just be blasting, like I love R&B music and like 90s music. So I'll just be blasting that, singing in the shower. And I usually think I'm like alone, but I've literally been embarrassed by my roommates before who have recorded me singing. Like in the shower, I feel like I'm a 10 out of 10 singer. I should win American Idol. But then when I hear myself in the videos that they recorded of me, I sound like I belong in a trash can. So there have been some definitely embarrassing moments there with that. So yeah, those are always the fun times. I mean, do I care? Absolutely not. I'm still gonna sing. But does it happen? All the time.
I think everyone thinks that they're gonna win the American Idol when they're singing in the shower. That's
Dude, I
am
a shower singer, car singer, whatever you want me to sing, I will sing. Am I good at it? No. But do I do it? Yes.
What about singing on the podcast?
I can't sing on the podcast, unfortunately. I have to be in the moment, but like honestly,
that makes sense.
You guys can come over to my apartment at like 7 a.m. and you can get a full concert for yourself.
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. For sure, that's definitely a great story. I think pretty interesting. I gotta feel bad for your roommates, but yeah, it's gonna keep happening.
It's gonna, of course. Yeah.
Yep. So, what about, let's say I think I'm not sure. I think everyone likes movies, so so this is a pretty good question coming out there. What are three movies you would recommend to my audience, and like why would that reason be? I mean, it could be anything related to why you think these three movies are great and made a great impact in your life.
Definitely watch. There's a movie called Prisoners. It's starring Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal. It's like an older movie, but it's a fantastic like crime thriller movie. I love those vibes. It's a really great movie to watch. Another one that I highly recommend. Okay, this is gonna sound stupid. I love good Pixar movies. I love Ratatouille. Ratatouille is one of my favorite movies. I love food, so I think like that's like really fun to watch. And then another thing that I would highly recommend. I watch movies all the time. I don't know. You don't really have to be into sports to watch this movie, but this is also a great movie. The Blind Side. It's about this like kid named Michael Orr. He's like a homeless kid, and he got picked up by a family, and like they adopted him, and he played football for them. It was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched that movie. It's a pretty cool movie, last one, of
It
course.
is.
But yeah, and that's definitely, wrapping up movies. But what about, let's say, what about books? Any specific books which made an impact on your life, or you would suggest anyone to read out there?
Uh, Books that I've read that I really enjoyed. There's this memoir called Tuesdays with Morrie, where it's like
Hmm.
this one guy who is like an at home aid helper for this kid, for this old man, and this old man kind of gives him advice about like life in general, like he's learned over his last like 60, I forgot his age, but 80 years of living. It's a really good memoir. I highly recommend reading that book. There's another good book. It's a autobiography by a neurosurgeon. His name, I forgot his name, but it's called When Breath Becomes Air. He basically was a neurosurgeon, but then he got cancer. So then it's about like his whole life of like up to that point. That's a really great book. And what's another good book? I cannot think of one right now, but those are
That's okay. I mean, that's definitely great. I'm great advice, those books. I think I should start reading them. I'm more into the business. I didn't like books for the longest time, which is pretty sad. But
I
I
can
read
understand.
books. I read books which are like more business and finance related, because I find the interest in that, and I'm very, very like that. I'm very, very into those kind of books. So I've never read these books, but like I'll definitely look forward to reading them. I mean, many of the guests who've come here, they've definitely recommended me a lot of books. I should start reading those for sure. I think I'll become more intelligent. Yeah. So that's definitely great. I have one final question before like we wrap. Actually, two questions. Is one for you and then extra one. So I just wanted to know, what is something people often misunderstand about you, and do you like do, do you feel what we do to correct them about it? Like, do you think there's something with that?
Um, people, people like so I have a lot. Okay, so people always like I have an assumption like whenever I like walk around campus, I know a lot of people on campus. Like I
Yeah.
just love like meeting new people. So I always say hi to someone on campus, and everyone's like, "Dude, you know so many people. Like you have so many friends." I'm gonna be completely honest. I know these people. Am I really good friends with them? Absolutely not. I have like 10 close friends, but then like aside from that, like I'll know a lot of people and I love talking to them. Like it's fantastic. I love to talk. I'll like get to know them. But like, do I have like they're all my like closest friends? Like thousands of them? No, like they're not. I just love meeting new people and always making sure like they're always welcome
Yeah.
and always like that. That's a big thing that I learned in college was like, especially
Yeah.
for my parents, were like, there's a lot of kids out here. Like, coming from Columbus, I had the advantage of knowing people from high school and other local areas in Columbus who come to college, so I had the chance to like not really go out of my way to meet new people. But I really wanted to make that different for myself because there's a lot of kids who come from like you came from Chennai, like everyone makes these like big pushes to come across the seas, across the country, and like
Yeah.
find their education here. So I think it's really important for a lot of students to do that, and like I'm making sure that like there's people out there that they can just reach out and hang out to and be like, hey, my name is, and then, like, do you want to become friends? Do you want to go grab food sometime? Doing that for that person goes a long way. So I always make sure that I do that for myself, to a lot of people, just making sure that they know that like regardless of what's going on, they always have someone that they can rely on. So I always take pride in that.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely interesting. I mean, for me, coming in, I had no one who came into my college from my high school. So, completely different experience. And I think you're living that too. That's why I got to meet a lot of new people. And that was really, really nice. Great to meet new people for sure. I had to. And I mean, at least you have a new person to say hi to every day now on campus. That's me for sure, now.
Perfect. Glad. I'm so excited. Like I love it.
For
I think
sure.
it's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty nice. I see people around campus, and now with the masks off, it's kind of easier to know who the
Who
person
it is
is.
exactly. I don't
So
know,
I'm just
like
like,
on my walks are like 10 to 15 minutes long. I'm always listening to music, but like a nice wave to someone that I know, or like, hi, how are you? Like it doesn't have to be a big conversation, but just knowing and recognizing like people on campus. I don't know, it's
for
like a
sure,
fun thing. Like it doesn't have to be anything meaningful, but it's
for sure. Yeah, that's definitely really, really interesting. I'll wrap it up. This is something I do at the end of the episode. Is it's called role reversal. Do you have any like a couple questions for me, or like anything you want to ask me at all?
yeah. So Carden, like coming what brought you to Ohio State, man? Like you came from Chennai, you came all the way here. Like that's huge. Like I understand that because I have a lot of family that makes that big leap to come to the States or come outside of the country
Yeah.
to study. So what brought you here, like just to the States and to Ohio State in general?
I think, for the longest, I was confused about what I wanted to do. And you know how the Indian mentality is, okay, if you don't know what you want to do, let's just do engineering. That's like, I think that's like the thing, if you don't know what to do, that's what it's going to go to. So I picked science in high school. I did that, and I was like, in India, you have to pick if you want to do science or if you want to do business or what. So I picked science, and I really didn't like science. I was like, I didn't, enjoy studying it. I could see that happen in high school, and I was like, this is no, I couldn't change it back then. So I was like, okay, let me finish this off. I finished it. And I realized it coming into like my senior year of high school that I didn't want to do science. This is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to do business. I want to do I started my first startup at the age of 14, and I was an entrepreneur. So I knew that business resonated with me. Yeah, studying business is definitely different than doing it in practical experience, but I still understood the facts, what business included. Physics as such, I didn't understand. So I was like, let me just take a chance. So I told my parents, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do engineering, which is it took a while to convince them. Definitely, I want to do business. They were okay with it though. They were like, yeah, sure. And the only thing is that India doesn't have really good business schools. And I was like, okay, let's apply to the US because the US is known to have good business schools. And if you know, Fisher College of Business is definitely, up there in the top 10 finance schools of US for undergrad. So I think that was something when I got into Fisher, that was great. I had many, I applied to many colleges here. When I got into OSU, I've never been to Ohio before. I'd been to US, but never Ohio. But I heard a lot about Ohio State, a lot of alumni I had met and everything. And I felt like it was my first acceptance. It felt home. I was like, I want to go here. I want to go to Columbus. Feels nice. It felt really, really welcoming. As everyone at Ohio State who I spoke to felt really welcoming. And I spoke to a lot of seniors out here who were from Chennai and like, who I knew like through mutual connections. And they all were like, they had their best experiences in OSU. And I was like, yeah, this is the place I want to go to, I think. Yep.
That's so
So
cool. That's very very cool. Congratulations on. No, not many people realize it. Like coming to school in a whole different country, regardless of like your background and everything, is a huge thing. So like props to you, man. Like no one really gives credit to a lot of international
yeah.
students like about their like situations and stuff. So like props to you for doing that. That's really really cool. And then you're making your adventures here and like studying here, and then you're doing this podcast as well. So like, congrats to you. This is like really huge.
Thank you so much. Ricky, that means a lot. I think definitely, adjusting in a different country alone, it's a whole
It's
step.
its own animal. It's its own animal. And then on
It's
top of that, making
exactly,
sure that you're doing things here and you want to still
yeah,
maximize your college career, that's its own beast itself. The fact that you're
yeah.
putting them two together and you're doing them successfully, congrats. That's a huge thing.
Thank you so much. So I think, yeah, that was the answer. If you have anything else, or like I can start wrapping up, then that's that good.
I don't have anything else right now. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, that works. And so, Ricky, I just want to say that talking to you today, I think, I realized that why people, I see people doing social work so many times just so they can get into a good college or just so they can do something specifically or get a good job. And I think today when I saw, spoke to you, I saw that passion for social work. And that's what I feel like I want to look forward to in many people around here. I feel like if anyone watching this podcast will realize why people do social work, not because of this, I want to do social work. And that's just amazing. I mean, great to hear of you. And I think the experiences you've had already in your life, it's amazing. LinkedIn is definitely one of the most powerful tools. I want to end with this, saying this.
100%.
LinkedIn's like a sword on in
LinkedIn,
the war. Yeah.
LinkedIn. If you need the sponsors, if you need to sponsor someone, let me or let Karan know. We will take
100%. I wouldn't mind any sponsors for my podcast right now. So
that.
100% definitely if LinkedIn wants to come up and sponsor us. But it's definitely a great tool for anyone out there who wants to get a good internship, get a job, or just meet anyone at all. Because half of my guests who are coming on, I met them through LinkedIn. And they were really excited when I invited them. So I think that's just an amazing thing. It helps out with everything at all. So yeah. So wrapping up, I think it was amazing talking to you, Ricky. And it's I feel like it's made this podcast has made a huge impact on my life and my perspective about a lot of things which I didn't know till today. I think the medical field was untouched by a person like me because I wasn't too good at biology and everything back at high school, so I dropped it very early on, and I just didn't know how it actually goes. But I feel like my passion for it has reignited, and I think I'll definitely go up and read all the books you suggested and do the things which you told me about, and maybe research a little more about that. And I think that's definitely great. Thanks for coming on to the podcast today. It was really, really amazing talking to you. And this is your host, Karan Goglani, signing off.